Oh, this could be an opening. The man they want to have the opening. It's Lauren Shetland. That is the moment. The moment of matters.
Hello and welcome back everyone to Hearts on Sleeves podcast, a podcast that is all about Heart of Midlothian Football Club, its fans and all the ups and downs we experience on the way, both on and off the pitch. So lots to talk about today then. We've got two games to discuss. I think we'll probably want to spend more time on the Dundee game than the St Mirren match, but never know. We might want to break down what, well, I suppose it feels strange saying what went wrong when you got a draw at against St Mirren away, which is typically would be seen as a pretty good result. In the grand scheme of things, it is a good result, I would say. But before we do that, Adam and John went to an event yesterday with four Hearts legends: Gary Locke, Ian Ferguson, Ryan Stevenson, and of course Robbo. What sort of chat was there then, and how was it?
Well, I think the most interesting chat was before the event properly started. The four guys were talking to us, and we're talking to everyone that arrived early. And Robbo seemed pretty confident that we were going to win the league. I mean, I came away from speaking to Robbo thinking like, this is incredible. So he was basically raving about the analytics, saying that Chesnikov, Ageu, these guys are all amazing, saying that the next set of players we get in are going to get even better. And he was basically saying in the media, like him and others are almost talking down Hearts' chances to try and keep the attention off us a bit because they actually think, there's like amazing things to come. So if you actually heard him talk about it, someone who's obviously in the game, his sort of excitement about everything that's happening at Hearts was absolutely massive. Amazing. He also said, I think another interesting thing he said was Magnusson scored highest on the analytics.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It was behind Ageu, but he was top out of everyone else. But they were talking about Ageu like the whole time, like just saying how unbelievable he's looked in. Was it the Bounce games? I think Robertson said, and then obviously even in training, I think was it Robbo that said that even Kazarides was like, what a player, like shocked at how good Ageu was, which probably sets the standard.
Yeah. So yeah, he was basically saying Ageu's going to be incredible. But yeah, John's right. Magnusson was then the next best one after that. But he was just so excited about the whole thing, and he sounded like incredibly confident about what's going to happen next.
And how much did Magnusson cost us? I don't think it was even. I think it was like below like 100,000 or something mental like that.
It was a really, really low fee. I mean, it's Icelandic league. I suppose they're not exactly renowned for like big transfers, are they, realistically?
So what did he say about Magnusson's style of play? Like did he mention the style of play? I guess we've caught glimpses of it. But did he talk about his play at all?
Robbo spoke about him a bit because he was obviously there when we played Ross County in the Bounce game.
Mm.
No one. And he's like, he's just like a proper box-to-box, 6'4", like he just runs back and forward. But he said he was surprised at like obviously his technical ability as well. He actually is quite a good footballer, apart from doing the physical side. But he said the thing that sort of shocked him the most about that game was that it was quite even, and then it was almost like we just decided that we were going to win it. And he just said it was like out of nowhere it went from being like 0-0 to like 4-0 within no time at all. He was just raving about it, saying how good each of the players looked, really.
Because I guess Magnusson in my head was maybe like Peter Haring. Yeah, I guess he's going to be like a version of him. But it's quite interesting to know he's box to box because that's something we've not really had in years and years. So that's exciting. I mean, I guess it's an interesting one because he's not really had much in the way of minutes, and I guess that's just because there's some sort of settling in time for him, right? Did he mention anything about sort of him getting more and more minutes? Was that the sort of plan for him?
Don't remember anything. I don't know about you, Adam, but I mentioned nothing.
I don't think he really went into that side of things, but I think what you've seen from McInnes so far this season is gradually breaking players in. Even Kizaridis was a sub. It was like sort of wasn't a proper starter
That's right, yeah.
straight away. Braga had a couple of sub appearances early on, so I think he's kind of gradually been breaking these players in.
Mm-hmm.
So, and even I think even in the last game, Magnuson played longer. So I think we'll see more of him, a lot more of him in the next couple of months, hopefully.
One of the other things that I think it was Locke and Rob were talking about quite a lot was Chesnikov. They were saying that he looks unbelievable from what they've seen, obviously.
What kind of position is he going to take up then? Is he right wing?
Yeah, he'll definitely play off the right.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Adam were kind of talking about it at the time, actually trying to think how he would fit in, because obviously we'll have to kind of shuffle things. So Milne will have to probably go back to left back if we want to play him from the start. But yeah, it was all just positive, to be honest, and they all spoke really well. You can hear the passion. Maybe not so much Ferguson because he was there for a shorter time, but the other three obviously, clearly really loved Hearts. And I think it showed.
I think it was great hearing Ryan Stevenson, still calling Hearts we, and obviously he's a guy from Ayr, and still the fact that he's so into Hearts. Everything he said every time, he still gets messages from Hearts fans all the time, and basically how much it means to him. And they also talked about mental health, which obviously ties in with our podcast. Maybe he could be a guest at some point on here. But it was really nice hearing a footballer, at a football event talk about mental health. I don't think that's something that would have happened in the past. But yeah, hearing him talk about Hearts like it's his club, is really nice to hear when it's a guy that what I actually didn't know is that he started off at Hearts I think he said when he was 11 till he was 13. He actually signed for Hearts as a kid and then moved down to England. But it was really nice hearing someone from the West, who obviously didn't have any connections to Hearts properly before he played for us. We've become his team. He seems like a very genuine guy. So that was a nice part of the event, I thought.
And was there any sort of funny stories from any of the guys?
Yeah, I mean, there was Gary Locke was talking about Magaluf stories and lots of stuff about Stevie Fulton. Like one time they arrived in Magaluf and then the entire hotel got flooded because Fulton had fallen asleep in the bath or something. And then there was another one where they were in a pub and Fulton had gone to the toilet and basically stripped off and wrapped himself like a mummy with toilet roll. And then he came out and Stuart Callaghan, one of the youngsters, had a lighter and set him on fire. And so he had to run out of the pub on fire and run into the sea. And I think Jeffries was around for this and wasn't best pleased. But it sounds like you were basically saying Fulton's this really quiet guy, during the week, and then once he goes to Magaluf or goes on these nights out, he becomes absolutely crazy.
Well, talking of guys who like to sit in the toilet for mysterious reasons, but also likes to party the weekend, we're also joined by Trunter this week. How are you, Trunter?
Good, man. Thanks for the intro that was worryingly apt as well.
Right. Anyway, that's a mental image none of us needed. We'll move on. So it's been a really good week for Hearts then. We'll talk about our trip to Paisley. And we'll also talk about the Dundee game. I think, it's an interesting one because we kind of, me and Adam in particular, on the way back, we're just talking about we'd have waves of disappointment, but then, oh no, actually it's quite a good result in the grand scheme. Oh, it depends on the result of the weekend. We weren't really sure how to feel about it, but I think now, almost a week on, I feel a draw is a perfectly decent result. You guys all feel that way too?
Yeah, it was better than my last trip to Paisley, so we lost on penalties in the League Cup. So, but I thought we looked really good, and I think St Mirren are a bit like our bogey team at the moment. they're a really good team, and I think we were good, they were good, so I'm not bummed out at all by it, to be honest with you.
I was disappointed at the match, but I think the way we came back, what we keep seeing this season is every time we lose a goal, we're coming back in every match. And I think if it had gone on a few minutes longer, we would have won it. So, and I think for me, the main thing I came out of it was like if we beat Dundee and we beat Dundee United, it's not a bad result. And I think bouncing back against Dundee certainly makes you feel a hell of a lot better about drawing against St Mirren. And we're not going to win every match, are we? So a draw away at St Mirren is not the worst result in the world considering our form.
Yeah, I take the point, but I think to sort of play the other side, I think it's a bit slightly worrying how St Mirren always seem to be able to play so well against us, and it kind of makes me think, are other teams going to watch what they're doing and potentially build on that? Because it's clearly worked for St Mirren twice against us. Like obviously we've not actually lost, but they seem to be able to break us down really well, and however they play us seems to be the right way.
Yeah, and you could tell a few minutes into that game it wasn't going to be a straightforward win as well for Hearts. That was a little bit worrying the way that something felt wrong about it. But I still think you have to look at the fact that we're turning these matches that could easily have been defeats, like St Mirren and Motherwell, we're turning them into draws. Because on another day, that was a St Mirren win.
I have to say though, their goal. I mean, their first goal was just unbelievable. I mean, it's almost one of those ones you can't really account for it. Like the defending wasn't the best for it, and perhaps he shouldn't have been able to get his shot away. But I don't think you can really expect that to come about. So yeah, I hear what you're saying, John, and I do appreciate how both times we have struggled with them. I think I guess I put this one down a bit more down to the fact we'd just come off that game against Celtic. I expected the team did look leggy at points. I think a big issue was that our players, kind of some of the spine of a team, really weren't at their best, and when they're not at the best, we pretty much set up in exactly the same way every game, which is absolutely fine when we're all playing well. But if they're not playing their best, it can leave them a bit exposed. I thought Finlay had probably one of his worst games for us. Halkett didn't look up to the pace, and Devlin, again, someone who's just become so reliable, didn't have a particularly good one. And these are all guys who are really important to us, certainly from a defensive point of view. So I think that also played its part, to be honest.
Devlin was poor. I felt like Benny was picking up a lot of his slack for that game. But that goal, we were right behind it as well. So we saw the overhead, and it was one of those goals where you're like, it's against your team, but you're kind of almost begrudgingly going, yeah, that was a pretty good finish.
Yeah. The journey up to so me, Turner, and Adam all went up to the game. I live in Falkirk, so I'm basically they're both getting on at Edinburgh to come through to Glasgow. I was waiting on the text to say, right, head towards the train station. A text which didn't come through until I had about 10 minutes to get the train. I do not live 10 minutes away from a train station. So,
well, we were sitting on the train, and then at one point, I just went to Trunner, oh shit, we haven't actually told Jamie what train to get on. And that was the exact same time I looked at my phone just after that, and you text us to say what's happening. In fairness, we had said we think we're getting that train. We just never. We were so excited to see each other for the second time ever that we.
Of course.
Oh, right, yeah.
Completely forgot about Jamie.
Clearly not so excited to see poor old Jamie then, eh? But
I've seen you lots of times though, Jamie.
fair. You both have. So I was mopping my brow with my scarf by the time I was getting on the train. I was absolutely dripping with sweat, but fuck it, I made it. Yeah. All's well that ends well.
A better evening.
But yeah, so we went along there, went to Weatherspoons. just that you get off it. I always like that one actually. It's the one just off Queen Street. You just go straight from that to the pub, and then we had some food and drinks there and headed off through to Paisley. I have to say, like, one thing I really like that St Mirren fans did their ultras, they had like the pulley system, and they had like a Dracula. What do you call it? A tifo, like pull up a pulley
Yeah.
tifo. And I know that some of the Gorgie ultras or guys connected to the ultras, they've been pushing to get a pulley system on the go for a while, but still managed to get it through. But I hope they do, because that looked fucking awesome. Like, even though it's just a small one, a small section, they did really well with it. And they even had like smoke coming from behind it, and it looked badass, to be honest. And the other thing that I don't want to kiss the arse of St Mirren fans too much, but I'll give them this. They also, so the other thing I was saying to you, Trunner, like, because I was started off kind of sitting over beside their ultras, and you're kind of the other side, so you probably wouldn't have heard so well.
Yeah.
But they had alongside their drum like a snare. I really think that our Gorgie ultras need to get on that as well, because honestly, just added a whole new dimension to it. So, obviously with the drums, you'll hear like dung, 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 dung. But when they had the snare, it was like, and it sounded awesome. So, yeah, this is me starting a petition for the Gorgie Ultras to also get a snare. So on to the game itself. Yeah, I mean, so we kind of talked about that first goal. We equalised pretty soon afterwards. We seemed to wake up a bit after that, and who else comes to our rescue other than the man himself, the captain, Shankland. I wouldn't spend too much time on this, but what are your thoughts on that first half against St Mirren?
I think defensively we were quite poor, but I think again we just showed resilience to stay in the game. I think the first half was kind of just about getting through it.
I came out really happy with 1-1 at half time, to be honest with you. I thought we did very well to not be losing at that point.
Happy is a strong word for what you were feeling at the end of the first half, Adam. You were pissed off, but you were glad that we'd scored.
Right,
You were not happy.
Okay, well, less angry than I might have been if we were losing, but yeah, I was not standing there happy. I feel like every time I go with Trunter, which has only been the only time we've ever gone is to St Mirren, it's just been me raging. So
we did just about the highlight of the first half for me was when Benny pinged one off the post. I thought that was going to be like a life-defining moment.
I think one of the highlights of, it's actually at halftime, I think it was seeing Adam come back white-faced and wide-eyed because he'd been caught coming out of the disabled toilet by a guy on crutches who gave him an eyeballing, and he had to apologise to him.
And the worst part was I only went in there because Jamie had bloody gone to those toilets before the match. And he said
But
to me,
I got away with it, didn't I? So.
Oh, that was embarrassing. And I came out and there he was with crutches and just staring at me. I said sorry, I didn't get a response. That was like the low point. That was lower than when St Mirren scored actually for me. But I'm blaming Jamie because he started that. He went there first.
You see, if that happened to me, I'd go like full Kevin Spacey, the end of Usual Suspects. It's just, yeah. But no, Adam shat it and apologised. Yeah, the fact that was probably the highlight of the first 45 odd minutes says it all, really. And as you say, we were doing good to be in the game still. I mean, it's not like they were all over us, but it's fair to say we let them come on to us and didn't really have much to say back to them, put it that way. There wasn't a huge amount of creativity from us in that first half. Now, they did take the lead in the second half through Freckleton. It was kind of a mistake by Finlay. Like I say, he didn't have the best of games. And Freckleton volleyed it in. But thankfully, Braga managed to bundle in the equaliser. However, I think the biggest moment for us was when we thought we'd scored right at the death. I'd say that's like the celebrations, the biggest celebrations. I would even put them above Hibs. Those celebrations. That's how mental it was in the away end.
Yeah, and Trunter recorded the whole thing. Watching it back was a bit sad, but it was incredible celebrations. Just thinking that we'd come back and won it again, but yeah, wasn't to be.
It wasn't to be, and it's one of
But
those
then
things. Sorry,
St Mirren had a goal. St Mirren had a goal ruled out, didn't they? I thought
Yeah.
when that goal went in, that was the end of the game. To be honest, I know we came back from 3-0 against Motherwell, but I did think in that type of game, 3-1 down, you never know. But I thought that was going to be the end.
Yeah, that felt pretty decisive, that one.
Yeah, so I think that getting disallowed was almost a turning point in the sense that it gave all the Hearts fans got a massive lift. And I felt like things changed a little bit after that goal got disallowed, and that sort of changed the momentum and changed like what the fans were like a bit.
Did you think it was fairly ruled out or not?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was a bizarre situation because he was offside, the guy, but he wasn't playing to the ball. He was sort of blocking Shankland, which made him offside. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was definitely ropier. Like it was a more harsh decision than our Kabori potential third one was anyway.
Yeah, that was a bit more.
The thing is, like, it does make sense. Like rules wise, it makes sense because he's obviously sort of beated Shanklin, but I think when you actually look at it, Shanklin's getting nowhere near it anyway. So I feel like in their defence, it kind of feels like if he wasn't going to be involved, like Shanklin's not getting anywhere near it. Why is it then a foul?
Yeah, I'd be really, if I'd been given against us, I'd be gutted. It's one of those ones where there's a lot of decisions like that seem to get made based on, like, obviously the laws of the game, but some of the laws of the game just seem a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
Like, I think when you start rolling out those kind of goals, it might be the right decision, but I do think it wrecks the game a little bit. So I felt like we got a bit lucky. Even it might technically be the right decision, but I do think the fact that those types of decisions get made nowadays, I'm not sure that helps the game overall. And I would not have been best pleased if that had been a Hearts goal getting chopped off.
I think as well it's the consistency though, because like that happens at like every corner, every free kick. People are like sort of pulling each other, pushing each other. Like if you're going to give it for that, you're going to be giving like chalking off every goal, every corner.
Exactly, yeah. That's the problem, I think. So they might be the right decision, but you could make tons of those decisions, couldn't you? It's like, it reminds me of the one where was it one where Peter Haring at Ibrox or something, and he pulled a guy's shirt and the goal got
Pulled the
ruled
guy's
out.
shirt. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Aye.
and that was one of those ones that I felt like that happens constantly, and you could start disallowing goals all the time. That it just makes me think of that a little bit, and it's probably it's the right decision. It's the right decision, but I would be a bit worried if that started becoming a regularly disallowed goal, because I think you could find a foul in almost everything if you really looked.
Always pisses me off when players do this kind of stuff. It's like, just don't do that.
Especially nowadays, right? With all this, with VAR and everything.
Yeah.
But they just continue to do it. I don't know why. I mean, obviously the guy's doing it to try and put Shankland off. So there's, I guess that's why the goal was disallowed. But yeah,
I have to say, at that point, you couldn't really say too much against them taking a 2-goal lead in this because I think it was pretty much one of our poorest performances, if not the poorest performance of the season. I don't know, that's totally unfair to say. I think the only thing that could possibly come close is that maybe the first hour in the Motherwell game. Those two have definitely been our poorest two performances. However, as you say, Adam, this kind of was the thing that really, I think, also gave us a sense of belief as well, and it really seemed to galvanise the support as well. And then when Braga got that equaliser, and the Braga song started ringing out. By the way, did you see that has now got around 7 million views? That
Wow.
away end of us all singing Braga. So I've finally we've all gone viral, technically, I suppose.
Way.
Yeah, have you noticed it? It just seems to be a lot of chat about Hearts right now. Through that, just on social media with everyone sharing that, going, "Oh, they've got the best chant ever." Loads of different supporters from loads of different teams all sharing it, saying it's incredible. And just I've noticed quite a few different news outlets, like New York Times wrote an article about us the other day. Adam, you shared one in the group chat from L'Equipe, which is the French, like the biggest French sports paper. Also saw Steve McManaman the other day saying he was watching a Hearts Celtic match. He's really impressed with us. And also Alan Shearer talking up our chances about potentially challenging for the title. So it's just a real buzz around Hearts.
It's just a total underdog story. Like, well, not really that much underdog, but like splitting up the old firm and, you know, well, we're above both of them. Like, that's the kind of football story that everybody loves. Like, so we're going to get attention. I love that. And yeah, it's just, it feels quite good at the time, at the moment, to be getting recognition. Love that.
I also think it's really good for the Scottish game as well, just having lots of people seeming to have a bit of more of an interest in the Scottish game now. I mean, who's to say how long it'll last and everything, but the fact that there's even a bit of competition with the complete monopoly Celtic and I guess to a slightly lesser well, actually significantly lesser extent Rangers, there is some competition at long last. I mean, it's interesting because we compare it to Aberdeen. Look, there was a fair bit of chat, but really kind of only around Scottish football fans. And it didn't have anywhere near this buzz. And I suppose just the fact that Tony Bloom's got his hand in it is really pushing the media narrative as well, I guess.
I think the Aberdeen push never felt that sustainable either. It felt like
Yeah.
something weird that was happening. Whereas with Hearts, people are looking at it and they know the Tony Bloom stuff, but they're looking at the team as well, and they can see that it's a genuine sort of sustainable thing that might happen. And people often just overlook Scottish football because of the fact that it's Rangers and Celtic, and now there's a legitimate threat to that duopoly. I think people are paying more attention.
I think as well it plays into the fact that last season Rangers and Aberdeen, when Aberdeen were doing it, Rangers and Celtic weren't in such turmoil as they are this season. Like they're
Yeah.
both in an absolute mess, which I think people are obviously paying attention to as well and saying, look, they both sacked their managers. What's going on? Like, something's happening.
It's also exciting that I think the media's getting quite excited by the fact that there's quite clearly really talented players that have been unearthed by Jamestown Analytics. So they're able to say, look at this guy, Kizaridis, what a player he is. Look at these goals he's scoring. Same with Braga. And, you're never really going to get that by... I don't think the English media are probably going to talk too much about a Leighton Clarkson goal, for example. So I guess that also plays into the narrative as well. So the game did end 2-2. At the time, we felt a bit... I don't know if disheartened... I think disheartened's too strong a word. But just... I think we kind of felt a bit up and down after we almost won it. However, at the end of the day, a draw was a fine result if we could go and get our win in the Dundee game. Now, first things first, I want to talk about the fact there were some actual changes to the lineup for the first time. I think maybe it was 6 games or something now. Let's have a quick look through that lineup. Still pretty much a 4-4-2. Milne switching back to his more familiar role in left back. McEntee, though, still sticking in that right back area. Steinvender came on for Halkett. Halkett just given a rest. Finlay kept on, and the midfield pairing as usual. Beningame and Devlin. The other changes, plural. Kabori managed to get a start ahead of Braga. And Spittle, I spoke about him last week. I think it'd be good if he managed to get some time playing again, and sure enough, he did. Thoughts on the changes? Does anyone have thoughts on bringing those players in and resting the other ones?
I was really happy to see Kabori get a start. First of all, after his performance against St Mirren as a sub, I think it was a sensible one to bring him in. It's our third game in a week. We're at home to a team that are fighting relegation, so I think Kabori coming in was a good one, and I think we probably all expected at least a couple of changes going into this one.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting Spittle to start. I guess would be the one that surprised me most was probably Spittle.
I think that Kabori was the obvious one coming in. I'm glad Braga. I mean, you can see the amount of energy he puts into every game. I'm glad we're able to, even though it's such an important game, still give one of our best players a rest. John, your thoughts?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I do agree. I think Kabori and Steinwender made sense. Maybe the only thing that I didn't expect was I thought Steinwender might start a right back instead of like McEntee, but I thought he was actually really solid the whole game.
I think Spittle did really well, and it was quite nice seeing him coming back in and actually having a decent game, because I think he's almost been written off a little bit by the fans at the moment. So I think seeing him come in, being involved with the goals, not scoring himself, but being involved, I think was a really good sign about like the strength of our team. Even guys who weren't coming through the analytics and who were at us before, they're still decent players. So I was really happy for him, actually, even though I wasn't wanting to start him, but once he did start, I was actually really happy he did well.
His pass for the first goal was really good. Like the one to Milne before Shankland obviously got it, but like completely split the defence.
Yeah. Obviously, he was involved with with Kabari's goal from his shot as well. So it was a really, he's had a pretty big involvement in two of the goals.
And it was ideal game for him to get some minutes as well, I think. Obviously, one thing Spittle doesn't really have is pace. However, I mean, pace is never really something we're going to need, to be honest, when Dundee are playing as deep as he did, unsurprisingly. And, I've heard people say we didn't play particularly well in that first half. Or actually, to give Dundee some credit, I think they clearly had a game plan. I think their game plan might well have been just to try and get a 0-0, given he didn't manage to get a single shot on goal the entire game. But I suppose they had one that hit the crossbar, but technically none on target. But they managed to really sort of cancel us out. They were really sort of quite stuffy at the back, I think. Packed quite a few players in the box and really struggled. We did seem to really struggle to find space in that first half. But then Shankland, all he needed was just that one moment. And as you say, John, what a fantastic pass that was from Spittle. But that finish was just absolute prime Shankland, wasn't it, Trevor?
Yeah, really, really good. It's good to see him like firing again, but it just, I like a shot when it goes where they meant it to go. Like I think he knew what he was doing. Just a really like reassured finish, and again, like you said, great pass in. So yeah, well worked goal, like that one.
Also worth noting that Shankland done more goals this season than he got in the whole last season.
That's mental.
He's better currently than he was when he scored 31 as well. He's currently higher scoring than he was at that point. So
I think that's right. Yeah, I mean, he's got 10 goals in 15 games, 3 goals in his last 3 games. And I know there's been a few penalties, which doesn't matter as long as it's a goal. But he's also had some really decent finishes. So very interesting to see where he ends up in terms of number of goals. Because, like John said, he could end up Could he end up with 30 goals again? 25 to 30 goals? What do you think?
I think he'll be up there, but I think it's interesting that we were talking about the nice problem to have with Kabori and Braga. Who do you drop? But we never even discussed dropping Shankland. I know he's the captain, but it's like Shankland and one other that you'd want in the team, because he offers so much, like the all-around play, the hold-up play, and I don't think Kabori or Braga have got that. But yeah, it's interesting to see who's going to play throughout the season, and it's probably going to be Shankland in one, I think.
And well, it's great to see Kabori get his goal after the disappointment of his one in the St Mirren game being ruled out. When I first saw the goal, I thought, it's just, the ball's landed nicely for him, but actually he takes a really decent touch, and it's a cool finish. I think it was McEntee, wasn't it, who headed down towards him from a set piece and then managed to lash it in. How did you feel about Kabori's game overall?
Boy, I had a very good game.
Yeah, he did play well.
Yeah.
I think actually that goal was harder than it looked, because the ball
Yeah.
comes at him quite quickly, and to take a quick touch and then obviously spin and hit it was pretty good. But I thought his pace and even his close control was pretty good, maybe better than I thought it would be. From the clips I've seen and stuff, it kind of looked like he's fast, but maybe he wasn't the best in the ball. But I thought maybe against Dundee, he actually showed that he does have that side to his game.
He seems to be one of these strikers that knows where the ball's going to end up. Like, they were both pretty opportunistic, and that's the kind of striker that you absolutely need. He seemed to sort of he didn't think that the chance was done. He was there to put it away.
Definitely, I think that's one of the key things about him. He just seems to read the game well, doesn't he? And just he seemed very. So he scored again in the second half, 56th minute, which can come on to. First of all, a fantastic shot by Spittle, and you can see after the goal goes in, instead of celebrating, his hands are on his head because he's absolutely gutted. He didn't get the goal himself.
I'm going to point that out. Yeah, from the
Yeah.
highlight. It's
And
not often you see that. But I thought it was a good thing that he was out there.
Yeah, totally. And I think, obviously he's not really had much game time, and it would have been fantastic for him if he'd managed to get that goal. But as you're saying, Trunner, he just seems to know where the ball's going to land, and the finish was as cool as you like. It was just, it reminded me of when you're watching the training videos, right? That Hearts put up sometimes. You just see a guy casually poke away past the keeper. That's how calm he was, and that's exactly what you want from your strikers, to be just cool, calm, and composed. The opposite of Benny, basically. Oh, we didn't talk about the fact Benny almost scored in the St Mirren game. How can we go past that? Sorry.
I mentioned it.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Right. Well.
Fucking hell,
no.
so that would have been, oh my God, I just about lost my lunch. That was incredible.
Do you think Benny would have ran the full length of the pitch? Run into the crowd.
I would have run the full length of the pitch.
Imagine his smile.
Well, he's permanently smiling anyway, so I think it would have been he would have looked like Lenny in Simpsons when he got his operation to get a permanent smile. That's the size we're talking about here.
Did you see the
This is
interview?
the worst day of my life.
Did you see the interview after where they were saying in the interview they were like, "Oh, against West County, like last season, you had 2 shots a goal," and Benny was like, "No way," and he actually didn't believe that he'd even had 2 shots in a game.
I just read an interview where he's talking about he's been encouraged to put that into his game, to put in shooting. So he's after a couple of goals, but after his second attempt at St Mirren, that was that was less exciting than the first attempt that he had at goal.
It'd be great if he could add that. I mean, we've said this for as long as we've known him, pretty much. Just that's the one thing his game is really missing. We don't need him to score, right? Because we've got goal scorers all over the pitch now. But if we could just have that one extra string to his bow, then just, that might have been something that could have actually turned a draw into a victory against St Mirren. So it'd be great if we could get that, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. He's I don't know, if he can add shooting, then he's gonna go. He's gonna be my favourite player times 2.
Talking of defensive midfielders who can score, Magnuson scored Hearts' fourth, about the scrappiest goal you're likely to see ever, but and almost called offside. But thankfully, it was over the line before. Who was it that got the last touch?
Finlay.
Finlay tried to.
Finlay,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that in Presley's post-match interview, I think he said they'd not conceded any goals from a corner this season, and that he was really disappointed that they conceded 2 against us, which again goes back to like set piece coach and all the. Obviously, at the start of the season, we kept scoring from corners, so I think that was another positive that Dundee. That was obviously one of Dundee's strong points, and we still went ahead and scored 2 goals from corners.
Yeah, we still pose such a threat within. I mean, we've got obviously a lot more height in our team now, but just bringing that set piece coach again, we've not talked about it for a while, but just what a great signing that was, because I think we must be by far the highest scoring when it comes to set pieces. I think we're also pretty decent in defending them as well. We've had our moments, but by and large, I think we've always looked fairly comfortable defending set pieces throughout this season. So obviously, I mean, since we last spoke, Martin O'Neill had his first couple of games, classic new manager bounce against Falkirk, running away 4-0 winners. And also, I suppose of interest to us, Rangers won at Hibs. Probably should have been 1-1 actually, but they missed a penalty. Hibs missed a penalty in the dying minutes. Did you see the Celtic Rangers game yesterday?
It was working. I didn't see it.
I mean, I saw nothing in that game that made me worried about either of them. Yeah, look, O'Neill gave them a bit of a lift for that Falkirk game, but I mean, they both, Rangers especially, like, attacking wise, they just look honking. Like, they've got absolutely no one that can finish that big money guy they've got up front. Chermiti, is it?
Yeah.
He had a couple of golden opportunities which Celtic absolutely gifted to him, but he still couldn't put it away. I just want to mention because I was look, it's an exciting game actually, but they just looked both pretty poor. Adam or John, your thoughts on the Old Firm match or Glasgow Derby, what you want to call it?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think they're both pretty shit, to be honest. Don't think they offered much either way. I actually thought Celtic looked worse when Rangers had 10 men.
Yeah.
It was weird. Like, they just
It
sat
was
back,
weird.
scared of them. I don't think either of them offered anything that we should be worried about, to be honest.
Yeah, and before we go to our quizzes, we also want to cover the Loan Watch as well as the Dundee United game. So, John, do you want to do the honours?
Yep. I'll try and be as quick as possible with this. So, obviously, Danda can play against us in that 4-0. Nielsen's obviously out till January, so I'll stop mentioning him just now. Macaulay Tate, obviously, Hibs were playing Livy, tucked it in the last minute for a 2-0 draw. He actually didn't play at all. Don't know if that's anything to do with the handball before that. Maybe he's getting a wee break. McLucky was an unused sub. Hamilton drew 1-1 with East Fife. Next one, Montrose lost it to Inverness 1-0. Stevenson started the game. Played 72 minutes, and then Sandlin's actually replaced him. Wee heart sub there. Kenzie Nair actually played the full 90 minutes, so I'm guessing that injury from last week to the defender for Spartans meant he's now going to start, which is good. And they won 2-1. Stranraer beat Forfar 3-1. Gillies played 88 minutes of the game, and Plank only came on for 6 minutes. I think he's had sort of limited minutes since he's been there. Adam Forrester, unused sub. Liam Smith starting ahead of him again.
Again.
Bit worrying.
Mhm.
I mean, there could be reasons behind the move, tactical or something, but it does seem a bit weird. Our star Costa Rican has now been dropped completely. Was he in the squad?
Brutal.
So I think that Real Madrid move's getting further and further away. And just to keep Adam happy, I've got Liam McFarlane.
Hey.
Played the full 90 minutes and kept a clean sheet, so good for him.
He seems to be one of the only guys that's playing every week, so it's good to mention
Yeah.
him, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple there, to be fair. Like, they were getting like 80 odd minutes.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, kind of, there's like 4 of them that have really played more than a couple games, really, but I mean, you never know.
Right. So Dundee United then. Now they're kind of a bit like Dundee in that they've had a really sort of up and down couple of months. So the most recent game was a 2-0 defeat to Motherwell. And as you may well have seen at the weekend, Motherwell got absolutely hammered against St Mirren 4-1. So you have to think that's a pretty poor result for Dundee United. However, just before that, they beat St Mirren 3-1, and before that they drew with Rangers. However, before that they drew with Livingston, so they really are a tough team to predict. What are your thoughts about them, John? What are you expecting?
Yeah, so kind of as you're mentioning there, they've only really had the one win in the last sort of 5 games or so. It's been pretty up and down, which has kind of surprised me, to be honest, because from looking at their squad, I thought that they would be a lot closer. Like, I thought they were one of the teams that'd be up there, fighting for third, like, quite comfortably, really. As far as like the formation goes, it's quite hard to tell because they do change it, like game to game. I kind of had a look at the game that obviously at Tannadice, so we played them before, and they went for a 3-5-2. I think they might go a little bit more defensive at Tiny, and go for like a 5 at the back, so like 5-3-2, and maybe try combat us in the midfield with Benny and Devlin having that extra player. I actually didn't realise that Benny didn't even play last time. He was injured for the first year.
Yeah. What's I find quite interesting about Dundee United as well is Dolcek, who started off absolutely on fire for them. He's kind of tailed off just as their form's kind of been a bit iffy, and yeah, the last game he only came on as a substitute, so that's quite an interesting one for them. He's run away. I think their top scorer. I think he's scored about 5 or 6 this season. Who are you thinking might prove to be a problem for us? Kamara was impressive last time. Is there anyone else you think might prove difficult for us to deal with, John?
Yeah, so the other 2 that kind of looked at is, I don't know how you pronounce the names. He plays right back, centre mid, centre back for them. It's like Savai. No idea how you pronounce it, but he's pretty solid all round. Kind of like Mr. Reliable for them, from what I've seen. Another one is someone that I watched quite a lot of the A League. I watched a lot of them last year. Is Zapsford up front?
Mhm.
He's quite raw in the sense that he definitely has ability, but it sort of fades in and out. But he is very quick. He's got a good finish on him, so I think it'll be a tough whoever's marking him at the back because he has got a bit of pace.
So do you think Halkett's probably likely to come back? Do you think we'll stick with the trusted pairing again at the weekend? of Finlay and Halkett then.
Yeah, I think we've got to just let them, not worry about them and just play our own game.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we start trying to, maybe look too much into their team and trying to sort of change our tactics to fit them, then we're just counteracting ourselves. Better just going for them.
Usually a pretty entertaining, high-scoring game against Dundee United, and Jim Goodwin's a guy who usually can provide quite a tough challenge for us. What are you thinking lineup-wise, Adam? Would you keep Kabori up front? Did he do enough for you? Or are you sticking back to that tried and tested pairing of Braga and Shankland and just kind of going back to that same starting lineup as we've had for the previous sort of 5 or 6 games? What are your thoughts on the starting lineup?
I'd put Braga back in for this one, actually. And then obviously bring Kabari on as off the bench. I would probably just go back. I probably would go back to the lineup we'd had for those 6 games, to be honest, depending on obviously fitness. I think McInnes said the guys that didn't play had little knocks. But yeah, I think I'd certainly bring Braga back in, first and foremost.
Hunter, what about you? What are you thinking?
I hate to say it, but I kind of want to see Shankland and Kabori up front again. I love Braga, but I think Kabori just seems. Oh God, it's such a tough decision for that one. Luckily, I don't have to make it. And I don't know if I'd stick Milne back at left back and have Kingsley out again. I just think Kingsley's been really, really good.
He's been excellent.
Milne's been excellent as well. So, yeah, again, I mean, we've got that Benny Devlin midfield pairing, and I believe Ageu's out for a bit. I kind of want to get a better look at Magnussen after me slating him. But yeah, pretty much what Adam was saying. But I'd probably start Kabori because I think he's absolutely ravenous for goals at the moment.
Ageu, I think from what McInnes and Ageu himself have said, expecting to be back on Sunday. There was concerns he might have had a hamstring injury, but they weren't founded, and it just seems to be a bit of a niggle. He should be back and fit and ready for Sunday. I wouldn't expect anything other than a substitute appearance again. Bart Grevink's one of those ones we bring up every time, but he doesn't even really seem to get coming off a bench at all at the moment. I think we'll just go back to that 4-4-2 that we've been doing. By say 4-4-2, I mean the formation, the lineup that we've been doing. Kabori is definitely the interesting one for me. Bit of a selection headache, isn't it?
Yeah.
The thing is, what I really like about Braga from the start is he's just so full of energy and he puts the defenders under a lot of pressure. And what you want to do when you come to Tynecastle is really start from the off and really put them on the back foot nice and early on. I think Braga is ideal for that. Yeah, I'd maybe start with Braga and then Kabori come off the bench, something like that. I mean, we're in the position now where we're not going to be disappointed regardless of who we see on that team sheet. Yeah.
I get obviously the wanting Kabori to start, and obviously the fact he scored 2 goals, but I think he knows at the moment he's not a starter. I think you have to start the 2 players who've been scoring all the goals. Like Braga and Shankland are top 2 goal scorers in the league. There's no reason that Kabori coming in for one game when Braga's maybe had a knock, for me, is enough to put him out. I think if Braga starts, maybe doesn't have the best game, Kabori comes on and scores, you go, okay, he's more in form. he could start the next game. But I think you just got to go with what works.
Also, another little thing I forgot to mention, I thought it was just a really nice touch. When Kabori scored, first thing he did was run up and hug McInnes. And you can imagine he's been given so few minutes under McInnes, he might be feeling really quite frustrated, and you wouldn't even begrudge him going up to McInnes being like, fucking that's what I can do. But no, he just gave him a hug because he's so happy. And honestly, if that doesn't just show the level of respect the players have for McInnes, I don't know what does. I thought it was a fantastic moment.
Incredible knee slide as well.
Yeah,
So,
I have to mention that.
Yeah.
Now, last week we forgot to do our predictions. I forgot to mention also, I came pretty close to that getting that Celtic prediction right. I went 3-0, it was 3-1. How are we feeling about this game then? I presume we're all feeling pretty confident, and I think your predicted scores might reflect that. Trunter, we'll start with you then.
3-1. I think 3-1. I'm going to go with Shanks. I'll do a Findlay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Kabori's going to come on and get one.
Adam.
3-0 Hearts. I'm going to go with easy ones and go Shankland and Braga scoring, and like Trunter or Kabori comes on and gets the third.
Okay. John, what about you?
I'm going to say 2-0 Braga and McEntee.
I'm going to say... Oh, McEntee's an interesting one. That caught me off a wee bit.
Just got a feeling.
I think this will be quite a resounding win, right? So the last game was defeat to Motherwell. They won't have played in like about 12 days. I'm going to go, we're going to beat their Dundee, we're going to beat them in the same fashion we beat their Dundee brethren. 4-0 I'm going. And I will say, I think Shankland double, Kizaridis, and let's go for a Joe coming off the bench and finally getting a goal and starting the Ageu revolution. So for the first of this week's quiz, I will give the guys 2 Hearts players, and they've got to give me a team that they've both played for out with Hearts that connects them both. So, your players today are Gary Glenn and Andy Halliday.
Morton.
Straight in with it, no.
One of these days. Oh, it's got to be... Gary Glenn just went down after us. Gradually fell down the leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Depends what country the club's from.
It's got to be
Not
Scottish,
Scot-
doesn't it?
I don't know,
Guy-
because I think I know one that's not Scottish. I know one that Halliday played for. That's not
You
Scottish.
always get these somehow.
Bradford City.
Well, I was about to say, if you go for English, you're not going to get it right because Gary Glenn never played outside Scotland. So,
Fair enough.
Right, so it's down to me. Ross County.
it's a good guess. And Gary Glenn did play for Ross County. Yeah, he played for Ross County right after leaving Hearts. However, it wasn't that team that connects him. It's a team that he played for afterwards. I'll give you another clue. Nope. It's the first senior team that Andy Halliday played for.
Livy.
Who are you saying?
Livy.
Yeah,
Livy
well,
is correct. Well done.
Hey, I didn't know Gary Glenn played for them.
Yeah, played for them. Played played for a couple of years actually. 53 games and 4 goals. One less than he scored
hell.
for us. Yeah,
4 goals, Jesus.
No, he wasn't prolific.
wasn't prolific. It's fair to say. So his scoring record was 5 at Hearts and 52. Ross County 41 appearances and 3 goals. Livy 53 appearances, 4 goals, and Cowdenbeath 1 goal in 11 appearances. So
Where
there
does
you
he
go.
rank up with Jamie Mole and Callum Elliott?
Must have got Callum Elliott. Did he not have a little purple patch at us?
Yeah, he
Jamie
did.
Mullen, lucky if he scored 5 goals in his career.
Yeah.
I was just having a look at Halliday's career. I was just,
Halday's career is mental, isn't it?
when, when did he sign for a team in Azerbaijan?
What?
I know.
He played 3 games in Azerbaijan on loan.
On loan from Rangers? What the
Yeah.
hell?
I know.
Yeah.
I knew he played for Bradford, but I didn't even realise he played for like Middlesbrough, Walsall, Blackpool, any of them. I knew Bradford because he played in. Did not play in that game where they beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge as well, like 4-2.
Oh, yeah.
I knew no one other than Motherwell and Rangers, to be honest, for him.
Mm. Blackpool I remember randomly. Goodness knows why, but... Okay, Trunter, you've got a new quiz for us this week. Although I say new quiz, it's kind of always a bit random, this quiz, but what's all about this one?
So this one is going to be about the front of shirt sponsors,
Oof.
and I've decided to go with that lovely 2011-2012 season.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 12 teams, and I want to see who can. This would have been great if we'd all had buzzers, but I think I might just randomly select a sponsor and see whoever shouts in first and give them a point. How's that sound?
Well, we just have to say the team based on the sponsor.
Yeah.
Oh, this is brutal. I'm going to be awful
Mhm.
at it. I
It
couldn't
was
even do
11.
it if it was this season, to be honest. I feel like John will win this one. He's always
I was
good at these.
11.
That's right.
I don't remember any.
I don't remember any either.
I couldn't even tell you the Hearts sponsor in 2011.
Well, we'll wait until he says it.
You'll trust me, boys. You'll get it when it comes up.
Mhm.
Not the best one. Don't say it. Anyway, right. We'll start off really easy. We're gonna go Krabbies.
Hibs.
Ibs.
That was Adam.
Ah,
Was that Adam?
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it. Didn't want the point for that.
Yeah, of
Fair.
course. Okay. Tenants.
Rangers.
Oh, whoops. Did they not both have tenants at some point? I might imagine it.
I think
I
they
might-
did both have it.
John, did you say that they both had it?
Yeah.
That's a double pointer.
Yes.
I said Rangers and John said Celtic. That's one each.
Yeah, but then
right.
John confirmed that it was Rangers and Celtic.
Oh,
Don't
no,
give
it
me any of
wasn't
your
that.
half point shit.
Oh, rubbish. We need an independent person here.
I knew that was going to piss you off as soon as I was writing it down. Okay, Caller.
I've not sworn. What?
Caller.
Dundee United.
Well done.
Oh, fuck. You are good at this.
Wow.
He was going to win it.
Wonga.
Hearts.
Hearts.
Fucking yes.
Jamie. You're on the board.
Mm.
Verve.net.
What?
Verve.net.
Cali
said
Thistle.
Verve.
Motherwell.
Kilmarnock.
Oh, well played. Were you the first one to
Shit.
say Kilmarnock there, John?
Yeah, that was a pure guess. I was
You
still
got
laughing. So I genuinely thought you said perv.net. And I was like, what the fuck is that?
That'd have been Hibs.
Hey-o.
Okay, what about team recruitment?
Motherwell.
Nope.
I've just said Motherwell for everything.
I didn't even think it was
Dunfermline.
Nope.
Dundee.
Nope.
Oh, I
Aberdeen.
said Cali Thistle, so just say it again.
Aberdeen?
There we go. Adam, you got one?
Yeah.
Well, you got two. Okay. GS Brown.
Motherwell.
No,
St Mirren.
no.
I
St.
can't even think it was in
John,
Who
league.
said St Johnston? That was Adam.
Yeah.
Fuck!
Yeah.
I'm shit at this.
Shout random.
I need to check who's in the leagues. I can't remember the team.
I had to look it up.
I should have run through that, but I thought it's spicier. If everyone's like, Raid Rovers! Morton!
I was going to say Morton, but that was about 100 years ago.
What about Brayhead?
Motherwell.
No,
St Mirren.
Thistle.
St Mirren.
Adam, you got it.
Yeah, because Brayhead is like Renfrewshire, isn't it? So.
Oh, fuck, you actually knew the answer.
Only because I know where Brayhead is, not because I remember them being the sponsor.
Yeah, but
that's
well
how-
played. You.
That was the first one where I actually used some kind of logic rather than just shouting Motherwell,
This is
which I did shoot at first.
this is the problem with this quiz. It's just going to be like a shooting gallery of people screaming, Motherwell! Okay, cash converters.
Motherwell.
Jesus. Mother shit. Yes, it is. Bollocks.
Adam, did you say Motherwell immediately?
Yeah, I've said that about
Yeah.
50 times now, so yeah.
Well, it takes some points off from getting it wrong before, I think.
Oh, no way. You got that dodgy bonus point. Come on, John.
Oh, okay. What about the Purvis group?
Aberdeen. Aberdeen have already been done, haven't they?
Dunfermline.
Jamie, were you the
Boom.
first to say Dunfermline?
I'm
Yes.
going to say yes because I've got nothing pretty much.
Well done. You've got 2. Adam's in the lead with 5, and John's got 4. And Adam's just going to shout Motherwell. And I think we've got 1 left.
Cali
And the-
Thistle.
Oh, for
Ross County.
fuck's sake.
Aberdeen.
That's a point. to
Orion
Dun-
group.
Cali Thistle.
Jamie, well done.
Woohoo. Yeah, I knew it had to be them at some point. So. Well, that is it for this week, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you do join us again next week when, fingers crossed, we'll have another 3 points on the board and maintaining our 9-point leader, indeed adding to it. But before then, please do join us on our socials, Instagram, Hearts on Sleeves Podcast, and the same again for Blue Sky and X. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe, comment, like, all these other sorts of things on either the podcast platform you're listening to or the YouTube channel. Thanks again, guys. Have a great week. I'll speak to you soon.